Here's something most people don't know. Think about this. A city of 40,000 people. Paved streets laid out in a perfect grid. Indoor plumbing. A sewage system more sophisticated than anything in Europe for another 3,000 years. Granaries, public baths, multi-story buildings, a standardized system of weights and measures used across an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. Now imagine that city and every city like it simply gone. No conquest recorded, no invading army, no catastrophic eruption, no final battle. Just silence, sand, and 3,700 years of nobody knowing it ever existed at all. This is not legend. This is not myth. This is the Indus Valley Civilization, one of the largest and most sophisticated urban cultures the ancient world ever produced. And it vanished so completely that we still cannot read a single word it ever wrote. So what happened to a civilization of millions at its peak? And why does the answer still elude us? The Indus Valley Civilization, also called the Harappan Civilization, flourished across what is now Pakistan, northwestern India, and parts of Afghanistan from roughly 3,300 BCE to 1300 BCE. At its height, around 2,500 BCE, it may have supported a population of over 5 million people across more than 1,000 settlements. Its rediscovery was almost accidental. In the 1920s, archaeologists Sir John Marshall, Daya Ramsani, and Rakaldas Banerjee began excavating two major sites, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, and found something that stunned the field, a fully mature, clearly ancient urban civilization that nobody had suspected existed. Three things about it defy easy explanation. First, its cities were extraordinarily planned. Streets in Mohenjo-daro ran on a precise north-south, east-west grid with standardized brick sizes used consistently across sites hundreds of miles apart, implying centralized planning or remarkably unified cultural standards across an enormous geographic area. Second, it was remarkably peaceful, or at least the archaeological record shows almost no evidence of warfare. No weapons caches, no fortifications designed for military defense, no mass graves suggesting violent conquest. Compared to contemporary civilizations in Mesopotamia and Egypt, the Indus Valley left behind almost no imagery of war, kings, or armies. Third, and most haunting, its writing system, the Indus Script, with roughly 400 to 600 distinct signs, has never been deciphered. Every clay seal, every inscription, every tag found across hundreds of sites remains completely unreadable. We have their cities, we have their tools, we have their art. We cannot hear a single word they said. Picture Mohenjo-daro at its height, roughly 2,500 BCE. You are walking a street wide enough for two carts to pass side by side. The bricks beneath your feet are fired, uniform, precisely sized. Covered drains run along the edges. Channels that connect to a citywide sewage network that archaeologists, upon discovering it, compared favourably to systems in early 20th century rural India. The smell of bread drifts from somewhere nearby. Around you, traders move goods. Carnelian beads, cotton textiles, copper tools. The same standardized weights in their hands as traders using in cities 500 miles north. There is no palace visible, no monument to a king, no towering temple to a single overwhelming god. Whatever this civilization's power structure was, it left no pyramid, no throne room, no colossal statue of a ruler demanding to be remembered. If there were kings here, they either didn't build monuments or built something we still haven't found. By 1900 BCE, something begins to shift. The great cities start thinning out. Population disperses eastward. The standardized brick sizes, that remarkable civilization-wide consistency, begin to vary. Trade with Mesopotamia, documented in Sumerian records referencing a land called Meluha, quietly stops appearing in the archaeological record. Here is the turn. No single cause has ever been proven. The leading modern theory, developed significantly by researchers including Liviu Gheosan and colleagues in a 2012 study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, points to climate change, specifically the weakening of monsoon patterns that fed the rivers the civilization depended on. As rivers shifted or dried, agricultural surpluses collapsed, and with them, the urban systems they supported. But other researchers point to evidence of catastrophic flooding at Mohenjo-daro, layers of silt suggesting repeated devastating inundations. Others still note that the decline was gradual, uneven, and regional, not a single collapse but a slow unravelling across centuries. And a fringe but serious debate lingers around a site called Shiva Linga in the Thar Desert, where some researchers have proposed evidence of an ancient airburst event, though this remains deeply contested and far outside the mainstream. The honest answer, which most archaeologists will give you plainly, we don't know, and because we cannot read their writing, we may never fully know, because the people who lived through it left no account we can access. So what happened to the lost city that vanished without a trace? Climate shifted. Rivers moved. A civilization built on agricultural surplus found the ground beneath its foundations, literal and figurative, quietly changing. People adapted, dispersed, survived in smaller communities. It wasn't an ending so much as a dissolving. What we know, one of the most sophisticated urban civilizations in human history, existed, thrived, and faded across 6 centuries, leaving behind extraordinary physical evidence and almost no explanatory record. What we don't know, what they called themselves, what they believed, who led them, and what, in their own words, they thought was happening as their great cities emptied. Then, streets full of traders, craftsmen, children, a civilization operating at a complexity that would not be matched in the region for 1,000 years after its collapse. Now, those same streets buried under Pakistani farmland, still only partially excavated, still giving up secrets one careful dig at a time. Maybe the most unsettling thing about Mohenjo-daro isn't that it vanished. It's that it was so large, so sophisticated, so clearly human in all its concerns. And still, after a century of archaeology, it will not tell us its name. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from history.